I'm defeated this year. It didn't go as planned. We'll try again. Next year, hope for something better and trying for a better outcome. Not giving up. Morning. Welcome back to Hidno's Homestead. The summer's over, fall is here, cooler temperatures are arriving, summer garden is done with, and we're moving on to fall gardening and cool season gardening here in Florida. And I'm just looking back at my garden this summer, see how it did and what it produced, and it did a lot, but it didn't and it wasn't everything that I wanted it to be. At the beginning of the gardening season, I got a lot of seeds started and I was excited. I got everything in the ground. I took off some time from work to really have time to dig holes and plant stuff and get things in the ground. But it really wasn't a good year. It stayed cooler for longer, which didn't help my peppers and my tomatoes. The heat came overnight along with lots and lots and lots of rain, which didn't help my tomatoes at all. And then we had a really dry and not a really dry, a really hot and humid summer here in Florida, which is typical for Florida. But the way the spring went really didn't help my garden set off. So I really went into it hoping that I'll have tons of tomatoes to make salsa with and make tomato sauce with. That didn't happen. My garden produced really good when it comes to beans, peppers, flowers, herbs. I got a good harvest of corn out this year, and then I kept trying out some new stuff that I had not planted before, which this year this is roselle. Did really well, and I am on my third harvest off of the plants that we planted. We literally had 3 plants in the ground and they produce like crazy. I probably still have 2 more harvests out there that I need to get, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot of cool stuff with the roselle that we have. But overall, I'm probably gonna dial it back a little bit with my garden next year. So with fall gardening comes tearing out a lot of stuff from the summer. We're tearing out the okra, we're digging up the peppers, and this year I'm hoping to be overwintering them in the house. We'll see how it goes. I'm not quite ready to leave them outside yet. The greenhouse setup that we had last year didn't work as well as I wanted to. I might give it another try this year, but I really want to invest in a tunnel. So if you have a tunnel, let me know what you went with, what kind of setup you went with, especially if you are in our zone 8B. I'd love to hear from you to really learn more about the options. There's a couple of things that I'm considering right now that I'm looking into, but I'd love to hear from you, from your experience, what you tried out with greenhouses and green tunnels that have worked for you. So greenhouse is one thing that I would really like, especially for the peppers, to be able to let them grow out for longer, because really pepper plants can go for years and years and will produce. The best pepper plants that we had this year were the ones that made it through the winter. So they produced like crazy, amazing, really big bell peppers is what we got out of them this year. So I'm excited to see what we can do with the overwintered plants next year. Tomatoes, complete failure. Corn was okay, better than it had been in the past, but still not where I would like to be. Beans did really, really well, and this year was the first year that we actually put beans away with canning and outside of just putting them into freezer bags and throwing them in the freezer. So I'm excited to try those with a meal, so that will be good eating right there. And then the roselle, we're gonna have some good recipes on those. I really didn't have the time that I wanted to have this year in the garden. I was simply gone too much. The weeds took over. I didn't have time to prune back and really do what I needed to do in the garden to help the plants thrive as much as possible. So I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, simply because I got a day job, and the day job keeps me busy and traveling quite a bit. So I'm hoping to put a couple of things in place for next year where I really plant things that don't need a whole lot of maintenance and that I can harvest as I go. When it comes to in-ground gardening, landscape fabric didn't do anything for me. I was really hoping I could stay away from weeding as much this year, and that really has not helped us at all with the way that we set it up, at least. So we're gonna try out something new next year, see how it goes, but weeds are just part of gardening. So listening to the Dohertys at the Homestead of America conference with their in-ground garden and the way that they deal with weeds, I'm gonna give that a try. So I'm gonna get myself a wheel hoe and I'm gonna see how it goes without any landscape fabric and see how we do next year. It's all about trial and failure, and I want to get to a point where the garden produces regardless on whether I'm here for a week or not. So that's really my goal moving forward, being able to grow what I can and putting as much food as possible away into the pantry is the overall goal. But I need to get to a point where, knowing that I'm probably going to be gone a lot, it needs to work out so that I have minimal maintenance with my garden. One of the things that I put in action this year is I canned less, I fermented more, I dehydrated more, and we ate fresh quite a bit. So because of the time investment, I have not been able to can as much as I wanted this year either. So I stepped it back a little bit on that one, and hopefully I can afford to get me a freeze dryer soon. So I'm saving up for that thing. I know a lot of people who have one who absolutely love it, and I think that will be a great tool for us to be able to preserve food in a different way, fairly hands off, but just chopping it up, putting it in the freeze dryer, and be done with it. So I'm really hoping to be able to invest in one of those. If you have one, let me hear about it. I would love to hear your recipe ideas with dehydrated food that you got from your freeze dryer, and really would love your reviews on the type of freeze dryer that you have as well. I'm defeated this year. It didn't go as planned. We'll try again next year. Hope for something better and trying for a better outcome. Not giving up, We're gonna grow again, knowing what happened this year and the time investment that was not there. I'm gonna pivot a little bit next year and see what we can do better with less maintenance and a better outcome overall. It looks like we have a volunteer sweet potato producing. Hey, that's great. If you just started gardening, don't give up. I've been doing this for 3-4 years now, so I'm still learning. I'm still trying out bunches of new stuff that I'm hoping will work out. Of course, it's not an exact science. There's always going to be outside things that are going to be contributing factors on how well your gardening goes. Weather, that's a big one. But don't give up. Grow some food, grow as much as you want, or grow a little bit. Grow on your windowsill, grow on your balcony, grow on your porch, grow in the garden. Just grow something, get some vitamins in you, get some good food in you, and keep going.